Have you ever wanted to go into space and have a great meal, but didn't want to go through astronaut training? Well, today on Walt Disney World Adults Only, I'll tell you how. Welcome, Your Royal Highnesses. I'm Carol, and you're watching Walt Disney World Adults Only. Today, I would like to tell you about one of the newest restaurants in Epcot. Located near Mission Space, it's a space-themed restaurant called Space 220. This restaurant offers lounge and table service for lunch and dinner. I'll tell you a bit about the restaurant, and then I'll be joined by Jackie, Taylor, and Courtney, who have experienced the lounge dining there. Once you approach the check-in desk, they give you a laminated boarding pass, and that's color-coded so the cast member knows if you're going to the lounge or to the restaurant area. Once your name is called, they lead you to the space elevator. The boarding parties are small enough that everybody can stand around that railing and get a great view. As the elevator takes off, you feel vibrations in the floor, like you're actually taking off. Once you leave the elevator, there's a very narrow corridor. Along the sides of the corridor, you'll see vegetables being grown in a rotating fashion, sort of like you'd expect to see on Living with the Land. At the end of this corridor is when you get your first view of Earth from space. At the right is the bar, and in front of the bar and in front of you is the lounge area. The restaurant, as I said, is 3 or 4 steps down, so it's lower, and the tables go right up to the window. Because the lounge is raised, you're not having to look through people's heads in the restaurant. So wherever you sit, it's an unobstructed view. Now, randomly through those big windows, you're going to see spaceship floating by. One of the neat things is that the Earth reflects the time of day. The restaurant has a prefix menu. For lunch, it's $55 per person. Lunch includes liftoff, their name for appetizers, or the star course, their name for the main entree. Dinner includes liftoff, star course, and supernova sweets, and that's $79 per person. The lounge menu is more limited. You can order the prefix menu at the lounge, and that might be a game changer. Conversely, you cannot order the lounge menu at the restaurant. That's what you need to know about the restaurant itself. So let's get some reviews, shall we? Let's start with Courtney, because I believe, Courtney, you've been there most recently of all of us.
That's right, Carol. I was lucky enough to snag a reservation for the lounge when Todd and I visited this past February. This was one of the reservations that I was most looking forward to. Now, prior to going, I was reading a lot of reviews. I was watching a lot of videos on YouTube just to try and figure out what I could expect. And I noticed that the reviews were rather split. So I decided that I was going to form my own opinion when I got there. We did have the elevator all to ourselves when going up into space. One little detail that I am really glad that they did was that the elevator really matched what was happening outdoors. So it really felt like you were riding in space in this elevator. All the videos that I had seen previously were taken during the day, so while in the elevator, it was daylight hours, and we rode in late at night, and it was actually nighttime in the video going up, which was really, really cool that they actually paid attention to that kind of stuff just to make it feel that much more real. When we got in, the host greeted us, and we were actually allowed to keep our ticket into space. He jokingly said that we were his last table that he was waiting for. So I was like, oh, do we get a prize? And he let us keep our ticket. Now, as far as the ambiance and the feel of the restaurant, it is really cool in there. Now, it was a little smaller than what I had really prepared myself for, but it was just the two of us. They put us at a little table and it was totally fine and comfortable. The windows that looked out onto space and, you know, the views of Earth were really, really cool. One thing that I could have lived without were the astronauts that were flying by doing really random things. Our server told us that those were their extended guests and that they would go out and have their little leisure time. But, you know, to make the restaurant feel a little bit more real, that you are really in space, I could have lived without the astronauts fighting each other with lightsabers or playing golf. It kind of killed that vibe for me a little bit. We did plan to order off the lounge menu going in, and like I said, we are generally early eaters, so we were not planning to have a large meal when we went in. Anyway, Todd ordered an appetizer which included some sliders. This thing could have been a full meal. It came with 3 sliders, I believe, as well as a full order of fries. I ordered the calamari, which is the most delicious food in the world, and their version of calamari was super, super yummy. It was lightly breaded and really well seasoned, and it also came with this like spicy aioli sauce to dip in, as well as marinara. I kind of stay away from the marinara, but the aioli was great. So we both really wanted to try the chicken waffle dish that was also available on the lounge menu. So we did order that as well to share. I thought it could have used a little bit more flavoring. It was a little bland. However, the price was right for the portion that we got. It was definitely shareable, especially when we had the other appetizers that we had ordered. Overall, my experience at Space 220 was a pleasant one. Would I return? Probably not. It was one of those, just kind of a one and done for me. Well, Taylor, tell us about your lounge experience. You also went there, didn't you?
You are right, Courtney. As of filming this video, I actually just tried out Space 220 about 2 weeks ago. This was a place I was super excited to try out, but to be completely honest, I wasn't very interested in the prefix lunch or dinner menu and really wanted to check out that lounge, but didn't want to wait in hours and hours worth of lines in order to do so. I got super duper lucky because on my ADR day for my last trip, that is when they surprisingly opened up reservations for the Space 220 lounge, and I managed to snag one. The reservation was for 8:30 at night, so a really late one, but we had no wait. We walked in, they escorted us to the elevator, and we were in space in no time. I think I was most excited just to experience the ambience. It's like a little show with dinner, basically. And I really don't think that disappointed. Taking that elevator up to the restaurant and then seeing Earth below you as you walk in, it was really cool. I think that they absolutely nailed the design and the theming, and it really did feel like I was in space. We were seated at a really small table next to the bar, and I think because it was so late at night, there were a lot of empty tables around us, which was fine. It gave us a better view of all of those screens looking back at Earth. The service was really excellent. Our server, named Taylor, funnily enough, was really helpful, giving us suggestions, and everything came out really quick, so absolutely no complaints there. We planned on eating here like it was a lounge. We had a really big late lunch and then just wanted to try some of the food and drink options. So we started with drinks. I ordered the Celestial Cosmopolitan and Jake ordered the Big Tang. I thought that the Cosmopolitan was really nice. It was a Cosmo, so it was strong, but that was nice, and it had that little bit of sparkle to it, which I like sparkles. I'm never gonna complain about sparkles. I tried the Big Tang, and I know that Jake liked it a lot, but I thought it was a little sweet for my taste. And then to eat, we split 2 plates, the Blue Moon cauliflower and the short rib sliders. I had heard really, really good things about the cauliflower. It is on the lunch and dinner menu as well. And I love cauliflower, so this was great. Not too hot with that buffalo sauce, but had a really, really good flavor. And the dipping sauce that came with it just enhanced that. So I definitely recommend that for either your appetizer if you're eating a prefix, or try it if you're eating in the lounge. And the short rib sliders were really nice too. I've been becoming a bigger and bigger fan of short rib, and I liked having this in that burger style. It was like hunks of short rib, really nice flavor, and they were pretty big. They weren't itty bitty sliders that you'll get at other places. I thought that the quality of everything was really, really nice, but it was small. They were shareable plates, especially for the price. For the 2 drinks and the 2 plates of food, it was nearly $70 plus then the tip on top of that. So even though that the atmosphere of the restaurant and the service were great and the food and drinks tasted good, I don't think I will be returning to Space anytime soon. I am really, really glad we got to experience it, especially so soon after it opened. But for that price, I just can't justify it a second time. But I think even if you're not super interested in that prefix menu for lunch or dinner, it's worth getting an ADR at least once to check out the lounge, because it's absolutely insane eating in Space, and I'm really, really glad we got to do it once. So Jackie, you also visited the lounge and you even did a vlog about it, right?
Thanks, Taylor. Yes, I did. We'll post the link to that vlog in the description below. I really enjoyed visiting Space 220 and filming with Carol and Lee. From the outside of the building, you never even know Space 220 was there if there weren't signs. I'm so glad the space elevator doesn't technically actually move at all. With motion sickness, the screens were enough and I can actually look away when things were getting a little bit woozy. The only thing I think it was missing was maybe a little bit of music or ambiance, but that just may be the Star Trek and Star Wars nerd that I am coming out. The lounge is on the top tier of the restaurant, and we were seated right between the bar and the first row of tables by the railing on the lounge area tier. My only complaint about the lounge area was the tables were a little bit smaller. Granted, they expected you to get an appetizer or 2 and maybe a drink, and not a full meal like I did. Carol and Lee just had appetizers and drinks, where I had the full meal, and the space was getting quite limited as they brought the dishes to the table. We had an awesome server named Daniel. He gave great recommendations on the food and beverages to choose what was most popular. I just really liked him. I think I'm going to definitely ask for him again if I get the lounge area. I had the prefix meal, which was $79. It came with an appetizer, what they call a star course, and a dessert. I had the space green salad, which was Bibb lettuce, dried cranberries, roasted pears, spiced pecans, and an apple cider dressing. I'm not usually big on salads, but this was such a great flavor combination. The salad was really nice, light and fresh, and I'm hoping on my next trip to try the Blue Moon cauliflower or the Big Bang burrata. For my main course, I got the X2 duck on Carol's recommendation. It was already week 2 of my 12-day Disney vacation, and I wanted something a little bit different and a little bit more out of my comfort zone. And surprise, surprise, it was delicious. It's roasted and confit crescent duck, butternut squash flan, Brussels sprouts with an orange glaze. The duck was cooked perfectly and was full of flavor. For dessert, our server Daniel adamantly hinted I should get the chocolate cheesecake. I remember him saying he eats this on the regular, so it had to be good, right? He was absolutely correct. It was delicious. It was not overly sweet, not overly chocolatey, and it absolutely hit the spot. Would I return again? The answer is yes. I definitely will return again. Hopefully this time I'll actually be able to sit in the lower dining areas instead of the lounge, but you know, if the lounge is the only thing available, I will book it again. Carol, I know you visited the lounge because we were there together, but you also had the table service. How did they compare?
Thanks, Jackie. We had a great time, didn't we? I always enjoy meals that are more than just meals. Space 220 is that kind of restaurant. You're getting something else other than just food. As you walk in and get that first glimpse of distant Earth, it is simply amazing. I dined here for a table service dinner with my husband and some friends that we met up with. The view is spectacular. There's not a bad seat in the house. So wherever your reservation takes you, you're going to get a good view. For my cocktail, I started out with the Atmos Spritz. Now, I generally don't like overly sweet drinks, but the cotton candy in a drink just intrigued me. My appetizer was the Big Bang Burrata, and it was delicious. I thought the arugula would be just a little side piece to the artichokes and mozzarella, but there was quite a bit of arugula. For dinner, I had the X2 duck, which was the largest portion of duck I've been served on property. And I tend to order duck a lot because it's just something I don't make at home. For dessert, I had the chocolate cheesecake. And honestly, I had to think back and remember what it was. It was pretty unremarkable. Now, this may be a one and done for some people. The hype of the spice elevator may not be worth the cost of a prefix menu. But as I said, you might want to try the lounge just to get a sampling of what the restaurant's like. What do you think? Have you dined here before? Restaurant or lounge? Would you go back? Please tell us in the comments below.
Thank you so much for watching this video.
If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. I really appreciate it. And share with your friends. They may enjoy it as well.
If you haven't already, subscribe now and hit that bell icon so you know when we launch a new video.
Let us know in the comments down below what kind of videos you want to see from us in the future.
And as always, we will continue this discussion and many others on Walt Disney World in our Adults Only Facebook group. The link is in the description below. Please join us there to continue this conversation and many, many more.
And remember, never grow up.